Hello and welcome everybody to What's Up Fandom. My name is Josh, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. I have Henry Bonsu, he's got a lot on his plate here. He's the creator, writer, director, executive producer of Lazor Wulf. How's it going, Henry?
I'm doing well. Thank you for this interview, Josh.
Oh, no problem, man. We've been talking a little bit about very downer subjects, so let's talk about Lazor Wulf now. First off, how did Lazor Wulf get started? I know it was a kind of like a webcomic previously. Like, what really brought about Lazor Wulf?
It was like a comic. It was a comic that I was doing on Tumblr. And, it's a joke. It was started off as a joke between not even between friends, but just chilling with friends, and came up with a concept that I thought I could actually turn into an idea, a comic. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those ideas that stuck long after the conversation, even after we went inside just from talking outside. I was like, let me actually try and draw something with this in mind. At the time it was called Lazor Wulf and Battle Ham. It's about Lazor Wulf and his best friend who was a ham that he carried on the top of his head. And
like you do.
Yeah, that's how you move hams around. But I was like, for some reason, I was like, I could get a lot of mileage out of this thing here because it's dumb enough for me to love, so yeah, I made a couple of those, and each strip was kind of like a different story, same characters, different story. You're in a strip with to be continued, but you don't really continue it. You just hop into a story or a different world, or even a different interpretation of these characters. So sometimes the style would change purposely, but the anchor would still, you could still recognize Lazor Wulf. You could still recognize Battle Ham. So yeah, those things were, that's pretty much, I would say, the light, quick history.
The very short, the Cliff Notes version.
The Cliff Notes, yeah.
What happened with the series? How'd you pitch the series and you got greenlit for the series? So yeah. You have now expanded this, list of characters from Lazor Wulf and Battle Ham to you've got Cannon, King Yeti, Stupid Horse, Blazer, Wallace, and God, because why not? Just bring God in there,
Yeah. I'm like, we could show him off as a cool, giant, floating, raw nerve, and figured, when you have a character called Lazor Wulf with a ham on the top of his head, being inspired growing up by things like Xavier, Renegade Angel, and Aqua Teen Hunger Force, you kind of get that belief that you can make all these weird things work if the characters are good enough. And I assume they work, I feel like we got good writers and good artists on our team that made sure these insane sketches and drawings all came together to work.
I haven't thought about Xavier Renegade Angel in probably 15 years.
Oh man, I want to make sure let's just talk.
well, you I like all you do so many little references and everything, and little Easter egg stuff in your episodes. There's ton of references. There's a DBZ reference, in the first episode.
Yeah.
You do a Ken Burns documentary episode, which was great. You do a whole thing with Crossfire, and I was like, the moment that Crossfire came, I was like, oh yeah, I remember Crossfire commercials that. First off, how'd you guys get Crossfire? That's
I don't know. I really don't. We the writers, a lot of times the writers, we're chilling in the writer's room, and we all are just on the internet and online, but also I would say we're all born either in the mid to late 80s or 90s, so it's all these references we all kind of get. We all remember the Crossfire commercials. We all remember we all remember the weird things that kind of fell to the wayside, because you kind of realize at a certain point you're I'm over 30. A lot of these things that I assume people know now, they're actually gold mines of weirdness that if I bring to people's attention, they're wait, what the hell? What the hell is this?
Yeah.
It's guy singing passionately about Crossfire. Like, why? You know, like now, you know, and I'm like, man, I was lucky to have that weirdness, and now I can like translate it into this other weird thing that I have, this weird show. And I feel like once you see the Crossfire reference, I kind of feel like you know where you kind of know where, you know, me, you know how this show, got made, or you know how it got made. We like references too, because, you know, with 11 minutes, like, it's a quick show, you know, it's a really quick show, but I mean, replayability is a fun thing for me. I like folks to go back and find something they missed.
Yeah, like dude, all the signs and everything that you guys have in the episodes, like that's a whole thing of just like, oh man, you have to watch the series at least 2 or 3 times in order to catch all of the episodes. Like I did like the one, it was the beach episode where God sends him. And there's one that was like Esthers corn and pizza rolls, and I'm like, bro, I would eat an Esthers corn and pizza rolls.
Would you?
Like, really? Well, here's the thing. Like what type of corn are we talking about? Like I was thinking like some nice corn on the cob, or like some fried corn, and then like pizza rolls, because I mean like that's delicious. But
I mean that's where you get the freedom.
Lunch, if we're talking like school lunch corn, where it's just like cold canned corn, and they're like in the thing, then I'm like maybe not.
That's where the freedom comes in. That's where, like, you know what, like, you know how you like your steak either medium rare, or like well done. It's like that's the freedom you have. But that's just corn. You know what? It's kind of 2 rough options, but you know what? I want my corn. I want cream corn, or corn on the cob, or just a single canned corn. So it's like that's the freedom you would get, I would think, with Esthers corn, because we've drawn almost every interpretation. Like it really depends on the artist who draws it, if they want to make it corn on the cob, or like, you know, canned corn, or legit just a can of corn on a plate with pizza rolls. Like, so that's kind of, I'm more of a corn on the cob guy personally.
I would say like a nice cream corn would be pretty good too, because then you got that like sweet and savory like mix. That would be pretty interesting.
I feel like this feels like an episode subject. Like it's something that I can see myself like trying to convince the writers, like, can we write an episode where they're trying to break down the science behind like what's selling in regards to corn and pizza rolls and Esthers? So I thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Like that's what I'm here for. I'll take a writing credit. And,
oh yeah. I got hit up Adult Swim.
You know, yeah. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the cast. So we've got. I'm probably going to butcher names. I apologize in advance. No, I'm terrible with names, which is bad as a host of a podcast where you interview people. It's bad.
No, I'll help out.
We have Lazor Wulf, Vince Staples, Canon, which is Etor Ewan, or
Biggie.
Is it Etor?
Yeah, Etor.
Yeah, Etor Ewan as Biggie, or he's Biggie.
Biggie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he still part of New Day? Like I know they like did that split thing. Like he's on like SmackDown and they're on Raw.
I think it's like kind of vague. It seems like they're together, but like just different brands.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
It's like when they did that with the Dudley Boys and was like one's over here.
Yeah,
one's over
I remember that.
Like,
I was like, oh no, oh my heart. But I mean, I love the New Day. They're on, like, we do have Kofi and Xavier on seasons. So.
I'm excited for that episode. I'm like, oh, that's gonna be good.
So like, but like, I'm a fan of all those guys. But yeah.
Now, is there a trombone? Like, is a trombone in there, like, somewhere?
I have to, you know what? Like, this is something that I'm like, man, I wish Jared was here. He's our board director. We all love to sneak references. The art director, Jeremy Sangley, we all love to find a way to put these references in. And Jared is, like, always good at catching the one reference that I'm like, oh, yeah, like, we need that trombone. So I'm gonna check, but I don't remember a trombone now. I'm like, man, like, I mean, good reason to get him back. Yeah, if we get another season,
you get another trombone. Like somehow they're in a band, or it's not even a trombone. It's like now it's like a piccolo, and you're like, all right, sure.
Yeah. As long as his fans and the people who know New Day get the reference.
I'm pretty sure. Like that's like I don't think he's allowed. Like I don't think Vince allows him in the ring like down anymore without his trombone.
I don't like. I feel like it's like I didn't think there was a way you could get that over, but I mean, clearly he's a genius.
Right?
Like clearly he's a genius, and they, they're all three of those guys are, and they got that over. Like they got a trombone over, and now I'm like, damn it, I should have had like and featuring French. I think it's name of the trombone is like Francesca. I think there's a name
like,
for the
trombone. Yeah, I think
trombone.
it's got a name.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Then we've got King Yeti as Andre Pasco.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Stupid Horse, J.D. Witherspoon.
Mm-hmm.
Reginald Johnson as God. So that's just like a done there. Lazor Wulf as Quinta Brunson and
Quinta Brunson.
Quinta Brunson, and she also plays. I said Quentin, didn't I? Sorry, Quinta. Please.
Sorry. Quinta Brunson. She plays the youth. She plays both the youth and Lazor Wulf. Yeah, double duty.
And then Shelley now as Wallace, correct?
Wallace, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, like that. That's the main cast. It's the main cast.
That's the overall. Yeah, I think this season we expand a bit. We have Judnick Maynard. She plays Jamantha, the news reporter, who's has also major role. Lamont Breakwater, Tunde Adedembe. But yeah, like overall, like we have such a. With season 2, you get to make more of an ensemble. I don't know if you can hear the ice cream truck.
Dude, okay, so I have that, like where I live, I've got that too. And my guy was here like 30 minutes ago. So like right before we started, my guy was here and I'm like, man, he's going to be here the entire time, isn't he? And he left. So he came over to your place.
Undermining me. You're like, they can't let me have a moment, where I'm just actually being interviewed. But yeah, no, it's a cool cast. And we have Cree Summer, voice directing this season. And she plays a couple characters for us too.
I mean, and like, dude, Cree Summer, like voice of my childhood, man, like is in so much stuff. Like if you look at her catalog, it's just like, well, damn, she's in everything.
Yeah, still going, like still doing the Lord's work. Like she really made this season sound special, and I think like I feel like we all learned so much from her and still learning, and I hope, like, I'm it's the same as you. Like, I'm just like, holy shit, I'm in awe. Like,
yeah, like we had.
How this works better than me.
Dude, like when I had, we had Phil LaMarr on. He was like one of our first like big guests, and I was like, holy shit, we got Phil LaMarr. Like, in that episode, I love it, but I hate it because we had it was before Zoom. Like we only had Skype, and we were having so many problems with Skype. Like the quality is just terrible. And I'm just like, man, I want to get him back so we can re-record that now that it doesn't sound like we're recording like in a cardboard box, like down by the river, man. Like that's what it sounds like that first episode. I'm like, oh, geez, it's so bad.
It's Phil. Yeah. It's Phil LaMarr. Like a lot of these guys, like, like they're more important to, I would say, me, but also I think all of us more so than like a lot of the actors you see in mood, like the voices you hear in these cartoons are embedded in your brain for a lot longer. That's the stuff you cared more about as a kid, and I would say even as an adult I care, like like I look at the names, I'm like, who voiced that guy, like who voiced her, like these are so much talent and so much skill behind it, and like I'm glad I'm at that point where I'm not taking it for granted. I'm able to appreciate like the work and the magic of bending your voice.
Yeah, I mean, we've done like we've had a bunch of like voice actors and everything on previously, and it's definitely like, and we've talked about it before. Like with an actor, like you see them on, like if you see Tom Cruise, like you see Tom Cruise on screen. It doesn't matter if he's Ethan Hunt, doesn't matter who he is, he's Tom Cruise. Like someone like Phil LaMarr, it's like he can be Samurai Jack, he could be Jon Stewart, he could be whoever he needs to be, and you're just like, he is this character. He is not Phil LaMarr, on screen. He is the character, and like same thing with like Cree Summer and like Rob Paulson, like all these other characters, like these people that we know, and it's like they are these characters. It's not just, you know, one singular person, and you're like, oh, well, that's person.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny. It's like you have your live action actors who are essentially themselves, but like, you know, they've played 30 characters. You're like, wow, you played 30 characters, 30 movies, and these voice actors have voiced 150 at the least, you know, characters. And if you ask them to tap into it, they just need like maybe at the most 5 minutes. You know, you're like, oh yeah, Rob Paulson played Yakko, but then played like The Mask. Like, you know, like, and you know, you got Cree Summer. Is like, you know, I remember watching her on A Different World, but then also hearing her as Susie, like, you know, like, and just Elmira.
Like, going from like Susie to Elmira to number 5, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's just this whole like
and you're like, you're all those characters. Like, she's an amazing actress. Like and, you know, they're amazing actors. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's special to me. I'm like in awe of it, you know, all the time.
So we're getting ready to wrap up. What would be your, like, if you could say anybody, say to, you know, the listeners out there, what they should be really excited for Lazor Wulf season 2?
I think with Lazor Wulf season 2, I mean, hopefully, you know, you're here for, I would say here for the weirdness, here for the fun and absurdity, and also just here to, like, you know, enjoy yourself within the TV 14 boundaries. You know, I mean, like, I don't necessarily, it's kind of hard to describe so much of what Lazor Wulf is. It's more so like, you know, hopefully you understand it enough to want to watch it again, but also don't understand it enough to want to watch it again too. Because I feel like it's one of those things where, like, I think repeat viewings, you get to see a lot and have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun with your eyes and your ears, and
definitely, it's going to be interesting watching season 2, because like season 1 is on HBO Max and it's TVMA, so you get all the fun stuff. So it's going to be interesting watching it TV, you know, 14, and you're like, I know I'm going to be like, oh, I know what was supposed to go there.
Oh no, that's the thing. That's a weird thing. It was like they hit us with the, you know, we found it was TV 14, but it was like, it wasn't. That was like after it was all written, so it was like nothing really got removed. I think we curse a lot more. Like, it's one of the, like, sometimes like I mean, the reason why our bleeps are like these puffs instead of like a hard boop, because it's like we curse so much, you would just hear boop, 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 boop. Yeah. And it's like, we want it to sound pleasantly so your ears aren't bleeding. But it's like, no, we say some wild stuff, and like we like, it's the fun part of the show, you know? Like, we get to venture there. You know?
Nice. And season 1 of Lazor Wulf is available now on HBO Max, so you can watch that. Season 2 comes out December 6th on Adult Swim, so you can watch it. Dude, Henry, thanks so much for coming on, man.
Thank you.
Where can everybody find you social media wise?
You can find me, I guess, on Instagram and Twitter. It's Henry the Worst on both. You know, more of my artwork is on Instagram, Henry the Worst, and then Twitter, it's Henry the Worst. And and that Tumblr, I still sometimes post art on Tumblr. It's Henry the Worst.
Henry the Worst. See, that's smart. Have everything across. That's the way.
I was lucky. No one wanted Henry the Worst.
and we'll put links to the social media in the show notes. You can find them. We're also going to put links to Lazor Wulf in the show notes, so you can click it out, check it out there. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh L. Kane. You can find the podcast on Instagram at What's Up Fandom, and on Twitter at What's Up Fandom PC for podcasts. All of our episodes available: iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, and on our website, animationstationpodcast.com, because I'm lazy and haven't changed the name of the website yet. Again, Henry, thanks so much for coming on, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem at all. So for What's Up Fandom, I'm Josh.
I'm Henry.
Bye, everybody.
Such a